My husband's sister broke into our home while I was hiding in the closet with my daughter, searching for my bank accounts. Little did she know, she was looking for the accounts of the woman who owned the company that was about to fire her brother. I'm 33 years old, and my name is Rachel Chen. 3 years ago, I made what everyone called a practical decision when I married Marcus Webb. We'd only known each other for 8 months, introduced by mutual friends who thought we'd be perfect together because we were both ready to settle down. Marcus was 35, a regional sales manager at a pharmaceutical company, and I was 30 working what I told him was an administrative coordinator position at a tech startup downtown. The truth? I was the founder and CEO of that startup. We'd just secured our Series B funding, and my company, DataStream Analytics, was valued at $45 million, but I never told Marcus. Not because I planned to deceive him, but because on our third date, when I vaguely mentioned I worked in tech, he'd launched into this speech about how he needed to be the provider in his future family, how his father had always been the breadwinner, and how he couldn't respect a woman who out-earned him. Red flag? Absolutely. But I was exhausted from the startup grind. My friends were all getting married, and my parents kept asking when I'd settle down. So I took the coward's way out and just didn't correct his assumptions. We kept our finances completely separate. I insisted on it, telling him I was old-fashioned and wanted to maintain some independence. He liked that, thought it was quaint. I paid for my own car, my own credit cards, everything. He never questioned where I got the money for designer bags or nice jewelry. I'd say they were gifts from my parents or bonuses from my admin job. He never asked to see a pay stub. Why would he? In his mind, I made maybe $50,000 a year, and he made 90. He was comfortable being the provider. Then I got pregnant with our daughter, Sophie. I took 3 months of maternity leave from DataStream, telling Marcus my admin job was generous. I promoted my CTO to interim CEO and worked from home, taking calls when Marcus was at work. Sophie is 18 months old now, the light of my life, with his dark curls and my stubborn chin. Everything might have stayed manageable if it weren't for Marcus's sister, Brittany. She's 24, 10 years younger than Marcus, and their parents' miracle baby who could do no wrong. When we got married, I barely knew her. She was finishing college, seemed nice enough at the wedding. But after she graduated 6 months ago, she moved to our city for better job opportunities. And that's when everything started falling apart. Brittany got a job in sales at some company, but she was always broke, always asking Marcus for money. First, it was for security deposits, then car repairs, then emergency expenses that were never really emergencies. Marcus would give her whatever she asked for. When I gently suggested she might need to budget better, he got defensive. Then she started showing up at our house unannounced. She'd arrive at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, expect dinner, and stay until 11. She'd come over on Saturday mornings and monopolize Marcus's attention all day. If I mentioned we had plans, Marcus would say, "Family comes first, Rachel. You're being selfish." The real problem started 3 weeks ago. Sophie had just learned to say, "No, Auntie," which Brittany thought was hilarious until Sophie directed it at her. We were having dinner, and Brittany reached over to take food off Sophie's plate without asking. Sophie smacked her hand away and said, "No, Auntie. Mine." I was actually proud. My daughter was setting boundaries. But Brittany's face turned red and she snapped. "You need to teach your daughter some manners, Rachel. She's becoming a brat." Before I could respond, Marcus jumped in. "Brittany's right. Sophie's behavior is getting out of hand. You're with her all day, so this is your responsibility." I felt like I'd been slapped. "She's 18 months old, Marcus. She's learning to set boundaries, which is healthy." "Healthy?" Brittany scoffed. "She's rude. My friend's daughter is the same age and acts like an angel." The next week, Brittany showed up at 6 p.m. on a Thursday, right during Sophie's dinner time. "I'm starving," she announced, looking at Sophie's chicken nuggets and apple slices. "Those look good." She literally took food off my daughter's plate. Sophie started crying, reaching for her nuggets. I got up to make more, but Marcus said, "Rachel, don't baby her. She needs to learn to share. She's a toddler, Marcus. She's hungry. Your sister is a grown woman who can wait 15 minutes for me to make dinner. Why are you always so hostile to my sister?" he snapped. "She's family." I made more nuggets, seething. Brittany ate them while scrolling through her phone, not even acknowledging Sophie's tears. That night, after Brittany finally left and Sophie was asleep, I tried to talk to Marcus about setting some boundaries. He told me I was jealous of his relationship with his sister, and that I needed to be more accommodating. 2 days later, on Saturday afternoon, I was doing laundry in Sophie's room when I heard the front door open. I wasn't expecting anyone. Marcus had taken Sophie to the park. I heard footsteps, drawers opening, someone moving through the house quickly. My heart racing, I grabbed Sophie's baby monitor, turned it on so I could hear what was happening, and hid in her closet. Through the monitor, I heard Brittany's voice. She was on the phone. "I'm here now, but I can't find anything." "No, Marcus said she keeps important documents in the home office, but there's nothing here." "Yeah, I'm checking the bedroom now." I know, but how am I supposed to pay my rent if he won't give me the money directly? If I can find her bank account info, I can just, I don't know, say it was fraud or something. Marcus said she probably has at least 20,000 saved up from that boring admin job. I felt sick. My own husband had given his sister access to our home to steal from me. I pulled out my phone, hands shaking, and started recording. Brittany continued. "He says she's got all these expensive bags and jewelry, so she must have money somewhere. He thinks she's hiding cash from him. Yeah, he's pissed about it. No, he won't ask her directly because she'll just lie. She went through my dresser, my nightstand, even looked under our mattress. Then she went to Sophie's room. I held my breath in the closet as she opened the door. She walked right past the closet to Sophie's piggy bank, a ceramic unicorn my parents had given her. It had maybe $40 in it, money from birthdays and holidays. Brittany picked it up, shook it, and I heard coins rattling. Then I heard a crash. She dropped it on the hardwood floor intentionally. Through the crack in the closet door, I watched her pick up the bills and coins, counting them. "Pathetic," she muttered, pocketing the money anyway. After she left, I sat in that closet for 10 minutes, shaking. Then I called my parents. My father picked up on the first ring. "Dad, I need help. Can I come over with Sophie?" 20 minutes later, when Marcus came home with Sophie, I was calm. I'd packed bags for Sophie and me, hidden in the bedroom. I fed Sophie dinner, gave her a bath, and put her to bed. Then I sat Marcus down in the living room. "Your sister was here today while we were gone." He had the grace to look slightly guilty. "Oh, yeah. I gave her a key in case of emergencies. She went through our bedroom. Through Sophie's room. She broke Sophie's piggy bank and took the money." "What?" "No, she wouldn't." I pulled out my phone and played the recording. We listened to the whole thing. Brittany admitting she was looking for my bank information, saying Marcus had told her to check the house, discussing how to steal from me. Marcus's face went white, then red. But not with anger at his sister. With anger at me. "You recorded her? That's invasion of privacy. She broke into our home. I gave her a key. It's not breaking in. And why do you even care about $40 from a piggy bank? Because it's our daughter's money. Because your sister is a thief. Because you told her to go through my things. I didn't tell her to steal. I just said I was concerned about where you were getting money for expensive things on an admin salary. You're obviously hiding something from me. So you sent your sister to rob me? Don't be dramatic. I just asked her to check if you had, like, a secret credit card or something. I had a right to know if my wife is lying to me about finances." I stared at him. This man I'd married, the father of my child, thought he had a right to invade my privacy because I own nice things. "Get out," I said quietly. "What?" "Get out of this house. Tonight." He laughed, actually laughed. "This is my house, Rachel. I pay the mortgage. You're the one who's going to leave." "Fine," I said, standing up. "Sophie and I will stay at my parents' tonight." "Like hell you will. You're not taking my daughter anywhere. Watch me." I went to the bedroom, grabbed our packed bags, and went to get Sophie from her crib. Marcus followed me, yelling now, saying I was crazy, that I was overreacting, that his sister was going through a hard time and I was being a selfish bitch who couldn't understand family loyalty. I picked up Sophie, who woke up crying from the yelling. I held her close and walked past Marcus to the front door. "If you leave," he said, his voice cold now, "don't bother coming back. We're done." Good, I said and walked out. At my parents' house, I fell apart. My mother held Sophie while I cried. My father, a retired attorney, listened to the recording 3 times. This is bad, Rachel, he said. But you need to tell us the truth now. Why is Brittany so convinced you have money? Why is Marcus suspicious? So I told them everything. The company, the CEO position, the $45 million valuation, why I'd hidden it. My mother looked disappointed but understanding. My father just nodded. You need a good lawyer, he said. And you need to decide what you want. Do you want to save this marriage? I thought about Marcus's face when he defended his sister. About him prioritizing Brittany over Sophie. About him giving her a key to invade my privacy instead of just talking to me. No, I said. I want a divorce. But I want full custody of Sophie and I want to make sure he can't claim any of my company. The prenup won't hold up if he can prove you fraudulently misrepresented your assets, my father warned. I didn't sign a prenup. My father's eyebrows shot up. You're worth $45 million and you didn't sign a prenup? He didn't ask for one. He thought I was broke. My father laughed, then stopped himself. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but that's actually hilarious. Okay. Let me make some calls. The next morning, a Sunday, my father connected me with Elena Martinez, one of the top family law attorneys in the state. We had a video call at 9 a.m. while Sophie played with blocks at my parents' house. Elena listened to everything, including the recording. Then she smiled. Mrs. Webb, I think we can work something out, but I need to know what you want. Full custody. Fair child support based on his actual income, not inflated. I keep my company and all assets I acquired before and during the marriage. He gets nothing from data stream. Given that you kept your finances separate, never commingled assets, and he was aware you worked and earned your own income, even if he didn't know the amount, I think we can argue successfully that your business assets are separate property. The recording of his sister attempting to locate your financial information with his knowledge also works in your favor. It shows intent to access assets he knew he had no legal claim to. What about custody? The recording shows he prioritized his sister's criminal activity over your daughter's well-being and safety. Combined with testimony about his sister's behavior around the child and his enabling of it, I'd say we have a strong case for primary custody with supervised visitation until he can prove he'll protect Sophie from his sister. Monday morning, I called my CTO, James. I need to come back to the office today. Can you set up a meeting with HR and legal? Rachel? Is everything okay? You've been out for 2 weeks. Family emergency. It's handled now. But I need to be back in the office. There's something we need to discuss. At 11 a.m., I was sitting in our conference room with James, our head of HR Patricia, and our corporate attorney Michael. I explained the situation with Brittany and her attempt to access my financial information. There's one more thing, I said. Brittany Webb works for Pharmaco Solutions in sales. We have a contract with them for our data analytics software. I need to know if she has any access to our contract or account. Patricia pulled up her computer. Pharmaco Solutions. Yes, they're a client. Let me check the account team. She typed for a moment, then her face went pale. Rachel, Brittany Webb is listed as the junior account manager on our contract. She has access to all contract details, pricing, and client communications. My stomach dropped. How much information could she see? Michael leaned forward. If she has standard account manager access, she'd see the company structure, key personnel, potentially financial information if it was included in the contract negotiations. Rachel, she might already know. Know what? Patricia asked. That I'm the CEO, I said quietly. That I own this company. There was a long silence. Then James said, What do you want to do? I thought about Brittany in my house, going through my things. About Marcus yelling at me while our daughter cried. About 3 years of biting my tongue and making myself smaller. I want her removed from our account immediately, I said. Cite conflict of interest. I want a full audit of any client information she's accessed in the past 6 months. And I want a meeting with Pharmaco's VP of Sales to discuss concerns about client confidentiality. Patricia nodded. I'll make the calls. That afternoon, Elena filed for divorce and a restraining order on my behalf. The restraining order wasn't against Marcus but against Brittany, preventing her from coming within 500 feet of me or Sophie. Marcus was served at his office at 4 p.m. He called me 17 times between 4 and 6 p.m. I didn't answer. Finally, he texted, "Rachel, please call me. We need to talk about this." "You're overreacting." I texted back, "All communication goes through my attorney. You'll receive her contact information shortly." At 7 p.m., I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Rachel? It's Brittany." Her voice was shaking. "What the hell did you do?" "I just got fired. They said there was a conflict of interest with a client and that I'd violated confidentiality agreements." "This is because of you, isn't it? You broke into my house and stole from my daughter," I said calmly. "What did you expect? I didn't break in. Marcus gave me a key. And it was $40. You went through my personal belongings looking for my bank accounts so you could steal from me. I have you on recording admitting it. Your brother enabled you. And yes, I had you removed from my company's account because you're a liability." "Your company's account? What are you talking about? You're a secretary." "No, Brittany. I'm the CEO and founder of DataStream Analytics, the company you were supposed to be managing the account for. You had access to confidential client information about a company I own, and given your demonstrated willingness to steal from me, I considered that a security risk." There was a long silence. Then, "You're lying. Check LinkedIn if you don't believe me. Or ask your former employer. Does Marcus know? He will soon. My attorney is handling it." "You bitch. You trapped him. You lied to him." "I kept my professional life private, which I had every right to do. Your brother's ego isn't my responsibility. But I'm done protecting it. I'm done making myself smaller so he can feel bigger. And I'm definitely done with you using my family as your personal ATM while treating my daughter like garbage." She started yelling, but I hung up. Then I blocked her number. That night, Sophie and I read bedtime stories at my parents' house. She kept asking for Daddy, and it broke my heart, but I told her we were having a special grandparents' sleepover. She seemed satisfied with that, snuggling into my arms with her favorite stuffed elephant. Tuesday morning, Elena called. Marcus's attorney reached out. "They want to negotiate." "Already?" "I think someone told him about DataStream. He's suddenly very interested in an amicable settlement." We met on Thursday at Elena's office. Marcus arrived with his attorney, a middle-aged man in an expensive suit who looked annoyed to be there. Marcus looked worse. He had dark circles under his eyes and his tie was crooked. Elena laid out our terms. Primary physical custody to Miss Chen, with Mr. Webb receiving supervised visitation every other weekend until he can demonstrate that Brittany Webb will have no contact with the child. Child support based on Mr. Webb's current income. All assets acquired by Miss Chen before and during the marriage remain her separate property, including her business. Mr. Webb receives no stake in DataStream Analytics. Community property, which consists primarily of the marital home, will be divided equitably. Marcus's attorney started to object, but Marcus held up his hand. He was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. "You really own the company," he said. "I thought Brittany was making it up. I really own the company." "How much are you worth, Rachel?" "That's none of your concern anymore, Marcus. We're still married." "I have a right to know." Elena smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Actually, Mr. Webb, you don't. Miss Chen maintained separate finances throughout your marriage, as you were aware and agreed to. She earned income from her employment, which you knew about even if you didn't know the amount. She never misrepresented herself. You simply made assumptions. She lied by omission. She maintained professional privacy. If you'd ever asked your wife detailed questions about her career, she might have told you. But you never asked, did you? Because you didn't actually care what she did as long as you believed you were the primary earner. Your ego required you to be the provider, and Miss Chen allowed you to believe that for the sake of marital harmony. That's not fraud, Mr. Webb. That's self-preservation. Marcus turned to me. I wouldn't have married you if I'd known. I can't be married to a woman who makes more than me. I know, I said quietly. That's exactly why I didn't tell you. I knew your ego was more important to you than I was. But I wanted a family. I wanted Sophie. And I thought maybe, if we could just build a life together, it wouldn't matter. I was wrong. You made a fool of me. No, Marcus. You made a fool of yourself. I bought designer bags with my own money, drove a nice car I paid for, traveled when I wanted to. And you never questioned any of it because you were so confident in your superiority that it didn't occur to you I might be successful. That's on you. Not me. His attorney cleared his throat. My client would like to reconsider the terms. Given the length of the marriage and the disparity in assets. Your client has no claim to my business, Elena interrupted. And if he tries to make one, we'll be forced to bring up the matter of his sister's attempted theft, which he facilitated. We have recordings, Mr. Harrison, recordings of Miss Webb attempting to locate Miss Chen's financial information at Mr. Webb's direction. We'll also bring up the matter of Mr. Webb's sister's harassment of the minor child and Mr. Webb's failure to protect his daughter. Would you really like to take this to court? Marcus's attorney looked at Marcus, who slumped in his chair. No. We signed the papers 2 weeks later. Marcus got the house, which still had a mortgage he could barely afford on his own. I didn't care. I bought a beautiful 4-bedroom house in a good school district, with a yard for Sophie and a home office where I could work. I hired a nanny 3 days a week so I could go back to the office. DataStream's contract with Pharmaco was terminated, by mutual agreement and with a generous settlement. We didn't need the headache, and they didn't need the liability of our CEO having divorced one of their sales manager's brothers after his sister committed theft. It was cleaner for everyone. Marcus gets Sophie every other Saturday from 10 to 4, supervised by his mother. He hasn't brought Brittany around, as far as I know. His mother tells me he's bitter, that he tells everyone I trapped him, that I'm a gold digger who manipulated him. I don't care anymore. Sophie's thriving. She's 2 now, talking in full sentences, bright and funny and sweet. She loves her new house, loves her grandparents who spoil her shamelessly, loves daycare where she's making friends. She asks about Daddy sometimes, and I always speak well of him because she deserves to love both her parents. Last month, I took Sophie to a park we'd never been to before. It was beautiful, with a huge playground and a pond with ducks. She was feeding the ducks pieces of bread when I heard a familiar voice. Rachel? I turned. It was Brittany. She looked different, thinner, with dark circles under her eyes. She was wearing a coffee shop uniform. Brittany, I said neutrally, stepping between her and Sophie. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. For everything. I was entitled and spoiled, and I made your life hell. I got fired, obviously. I'm working at Starbucks now. I had to move back in with my parents. Marcus won't talk to me. Mom and Dad are disappointed. I lost everything because I was greedy and stupid. I should have felt vindicated. Satisfied. But looking at her, I just felt tired. Okay. That's it? What do you want me to say, Brittany? You broke into my house. You stole from my daughter. You tried to access my bank accounts. You got what you deserved. I know. I wanted you to know I'm sorry. Sophie tugged on my hand. Mama, more bread. Brittany looked at Sophie, and her face crumpled. She's gotten so big. Marcus shows me pictures sometimes. You need to stay away from us, Brittany. There's a restraining order. I know. I'm not trying to violate it. I saw you here and I wanted to say I was sorry. I'll go. She walked away, shoulders hunched, and I felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, not pity. Just nothing. I'd spent so much energy being angry at her, at Marcus, at the situation. But now, watching my daughter laugh as she threw bread to the ducks, I realized I didn't have room for that anger anymore. I had Sophie. I had my company. I had my life back. That night, after Sophie was asleep, I sat on my back porch with a glass of wine and called my father. How are you doing, sweetheart? I saw Brittany today, and I realized I don't care anymore. About her, about Marcus, about any of it. I just want to move forward. That's growth, my father said gently. That's healing. I spent 3 years making myself smaller for a man who didn't even see me. I hid who I was because I thought it would make him happy. But he was never going to be happy, Dad. Not really, because he didn't want a partner. He wanted someone to be smaller than him so he could feel big. Some men are like that, my father said. Your mother and I raised you to be strong, smart, and independent. Any man who can't handle that doesn't deserve you. I know that now. I just wish I'd known it 3 years ago. You have Sophie. Would you trade her to go back and make a different choice? I looked through the window at my daughter's room at the nightlight glowing softly. Never. Then you made the right choice, sweetheart. Even if it was hard. Even if it hurt. You made the right choice. After we hung up, I opened my laptop and checked my work email. We'd just closed a major deal, our biggest yet. DataStream was growing faster than I'd ever imagined. Next month, we were opening a second office. We'd been approached about acquisition offers, but I wasn't interested. This was my company, my creation, and I wasn't ready to let it go. I was 33 years old, a single mother, a CEO, and for the first time in 3 years I was completely, unapologetically myself. No more hiding, no more making myself smaller, no more apologizing for my success. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost didn't look, but curiosity got the better of me. It was from Marcus. My boss told me today that his company uses DataStream. He asked if I was related to the CEO since we have the same last name. I had to explain we're divorced. He was impressed that I'd been married to you. He had no idea how impressed he should actually be. I was such a fool, Rachel. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it without responding. He didn't get to have this moment, this realization, this attempt at reconciliation or closure or whatever he was looking for. I'd given him 3 years of my life, my authenticity, my truth. I'd made myself smaller for him. I'd hidden my light so he could feel bright. Never again. I closed my laptop, finished my wine, and went to check on Sophie one more time before bed. She was sleeping peacefully, one arm around her stuffed elephant, her dark curls spread across the pillow. My daughter. My beautiful, perfect daughter who would grow up watching her mother be strong, be successful, be unapologetically herself. I kissed her forehead softly and whispered, "You never have to make yourself smaller for anyone, baby girl. You shine as bright as you want. I promise." And I meant it.